President Cyril Ramaphosa is expected to visit the building collapse site in George in the Western Cape today. Now, the death toll is at 33, 7 South Africans among the deceased. 19 people are still unaccounted for. Well, so far, 47 of the 62 victims, alive and deceased, have been connected to their families, and 12 of those are still in hospital. Food parcels have also been given to affected families, as charity organizations have committed to help them over the next few months. Well, at the same time, the developer of the property has released another statement saying that they will cooperate with the investigation. So for more on the latest developments there in George, and of course just previewing the president's upcoming visit there today, let's cross to our SABC News reporter Lerato Fekisi. Lerato, good morning once more. And have there been any further developments since we last spoke?
No further developments, Akina. The site still remaining at 33 deceased, 19 unaccounted for. But right now we are at the site where the building has collapsed, and I think will form a huge part of the president's visit this morning. There's going to be an oversight visit by the president, provincial and local government are coming here with various ministers as well, just to have an oversight visit and also to get an indication as to how far we are or how far the disaster team is in terms of the work that's been done here on the site, which layer of the building they are. I have heard this morning they're working now from the right to the left and right now on level 1 of the building. But I'm joined this morning by Colin Deiner, who is the head of management for disaster, to tell us briefly in terms of now the construction site, where things stand and how far they are with the work that's been done here. Colin, good morning to you. Just want to find out, in terms of the work that's been done on the site now, where are we currently, what level they're currently on, and how much time do we still have? Do you just still have to work on the site?
All right, good morning. So we are at the far end of the building, so the end furthest away from the road. We have reached the ground, so we've got through the basement. We are now basically on natural ground. The sides, obviously being deep into building with a basement, the walls we're concerned about their stability. So there hasn't been any movement on them, but we have to be careful. So we've done a lot of backfill over the night just to ensure the stability of the walls, but closer towards the road side where you can see the equipment working now, we have to clear off all the debris where we cleared there, and then there's 2 slabs still there that we need to get into to look for for the last reported victims. And once we've cleared that, we believe that we should be by tomorrow afternoon, Friday afternoon, that we should be able to hand the site over to the South African Police Services for the further processing.
When you speak about handing over the site to police services, what does that mean then in terms of the rescue personnel still on the site and work being done here?
Okay, so that basically means that our rescue and recovery work is done. They will then use it for investigations, they will collect evidence, and they then have to also hand it over to Department of Labour, who will further finalise all their investigations, and then it obviously has to be secured. Our concern at the moment is that when we go off-site, and it could be longer, but I mean our focus is to work towards tomorrow afternoon, is that it's safe, because people will be moving around. It's in the middle of a town, it's got to be secured. So that's what we're going to be working with the police and Labour today to ensure that when we go off-site that it is safe to work in.
Colin, there are 19 people unaccounted for, and you say now you're now at the basement level. Is there still indication that there are still people strapped there?
There's no indications. We've been working now for almost 2 days and found very little signs, but the dogs are pointing in certain areas. So that's what we're prioritizing through today, tonight and tomorrow, and we're confident we'll get there. It's just the areas have been these are areas that have what we call pancake quite heavily, so they're quite heavily on top of each other. But we do know there was a vehicle in there, and that's what we're trying to get to now, and hopefully, find something in that area. But yeah, look, the 19 is what we were informed in terms of interviews with survivors, interviews with contractors, etc. So we've worked on that as a number. It's not an exact number, but that has been the number we've worked towards, which has meant that we've continued the search.
Then lastly, Colin, when we spoke earlier on, you said that you've done lots of natural disasters in the country, but this was by far the biggest in terms of South Africa. What have been some of the challenges that you faced in the specific disaster?
Yeah, I think from a perspective of our operation, it's been a long operation. I think we're into day 10 now, and when you've got 24/7 operation for 10 days, the coordination gets quite difficult. You've got to make sure that your teams are fresh when they come on. I think it's really good that between ourselves and the South African Police Services, if I say ourselves, our medical rescue services and our fire services of the province, we've been able to rotate as well as we have. So there's been a lot of positives. The tough ones has been the way the building collapsed. It collapsed and it was very unsafe. So having to have it stable and then move equipment, debris away and then work again, probably for me the biggest challenge. I think there was a lot of highlights. Obviously, rescuing somebody after 118 hours really gave us all a big boost. But there's a lot of lessons to be learned. We by no means did we do this perfectly. You never do anything like this perfectly.
Well, that was Colin Deiner, head of disaster management in the Western Cape, just speaking about the work that's been done here, saying that they're looking at wrapping up tomorrow. They're now at the basement level, saying that you can't really say if there are still more people trapped underground, but the dogs are pointing towards that, but saying that as of tomorrow, they will wrap up their rescue operations and hand over to the SAPS. Over to you in the studio.
Well, thanks so much, Lerat.